Imagine a cold morning in New York. You wake up in a luxurious apartment, step into the bathroom, and stare into a spotless mirror. You see a familiar face, but the eyes looking back at you feel empty. And then the question hits you like lightning. Who am I really? What am I living for? That was the moment Michael Johnson, a man in his mid-30s, admired by society for his wealth, his stable career, and his polished reputation, realized he had no idea who he truly was. He walked outside into the winter streets, surrounded by rushing crowds. The blaring car horns, the sound of shoes against the pavement, the endless phone calls, it was all noise. But inside, there was only silence, a silence so loud it scared him. He knew that if he kept going, his life would be nothing but a series of empty days. So Michael did something no one expected. He quit his job. He walked away from his tailored suits, the glass towers of Manhattan, and the endless boardroom meetings. Friends called him crazy, his family begged him to reconsider. But deep inside, a quiet voice whispered, "It's time to find yourself." His first stop was Montana. There, he became a farmhand. From a man who once lived with air conditioning and city lights, Michael learned to dig into the soil, feed horses, and watch the sunrise over endless fields of grass. His hands grew rough, his back ached, but his heart was alive again. He discovered that he loved simplicity, the raw connection to nature, the peace of mornings filled with nothing but birdsong. Months later, Michael traveled to India to join a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat. No phone, no conversations, no distractions, just silence and the rhythm of his breath. The first few days were unbearable. His mind revolted, memories flooded in, fears rose to the surface. He felt trapped. But then, in the stillness, he heard something he had long forgotten, the faint voice of his true self, the childlike dreams he had buried, the desires he had never dared to chase. For the first time, he faced who he was beneath the masks. When he finally returned to the United States, Michael was no longer the same man who once lived for titles and paychecks. His eyes carried a light, a spark of life he had never felt before. He began writing about his journey, sharing stories of Montana's farmlands, the silence of meditation halls in India, the nights under Himalayan skies. His words spread across the internet, touching thousands who, like him, felt lost in their own lives. And Michael came to a realization. Discovering yourself is not about finding a final version of who you are. It is about embracing a lifelong journey of growth, curiosity, and change. Today, Michael continues that journey. He takes guitar lessons, experiments with cooking, climbs mountains, and volunteers in community projects. Each new experience reveals another part of himself he never knew existed. And you, reading this story right now, have you ever asked yourself, am I truly living as me, or am I just living to please the world? Don't wait for an empty morning in front of the mirror to ask that question. Start today. Try something new. Step outside your comfort zone. Give yourself a moment of silence to truly listen to your heart. Because discovering yourself is not about reaching a destination. It is a journey that lasts a lifetime. And the first step of that journey can only be taken by you.